Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, and Twitter, X, whatever you're calling yourself these days. My name is Ren Jones. Welcome to the second weekly edition of Humpday Live. I did a survey on all of my social media channels, and I asked people if I was going to provide 50 content during the course of the week, would you rather have that happen on a Monday to get your week started, or would you rather have it on Wednesday to get you? Overwhelmingly, everybody said Wednesday. I need a push on Hump Day. This is the second edition of Hump Day Live, 15-minute broadcast to get you over the hump. I want to start with news because we always start that way. At least when I say always, I mean out of the 2 times that I've ever done this in life, and we'll get it together soon. But I want to start out with news because I want to know if you guys have heard of the Body Roundness Index, the BRI. You're probably familiar with the BMI, the Body Mass Index, and it's caught a lot of flack over the years. I've been a source of some of that flack for the Body Mass Index because I hate the fact that it puts everyone into these buckets, these categories by height and weight, because that doesn't tell us very much. Well, there's a new index for health and obesity. It's called the Body Roundness Index. Not a huge fan in the name, but I'm not here to give my opinion about it. I'm just here to give you the news about it. So let's start off with that story because the Body Roundness Index was a result of a new study. A study published in JAMA Network Open. Researchers found that a higher body roundness index was associated with an increased risk of death from any cause in a large retrospective study, including nearly 33,000 U.S. adults. Now, you might be saying to yourself, Ren, slow down. What the hell is the Body Roundness Index and how do you figure that out? Well, I've got news for you. I went to the internet to see if I could find one, a calculator, and there is indeed a Body Roundness Index calculator. Let me tell you how the Body Roundness Index calculator works. These are the things that you put in. Now, for contrast, BMI is just your height and your weight, and it spits out a number. The Body Roundness Index starts, or at least the one that I found from WebFCE, and I'll share that link in my bio. It starts off with you selecting your units. Do you want it US or do you want it metric? Then you select your gender in the Body Roundness Index calculator. Then you can select your ethnicity. It's optional. Ethnicity that it has Mexican American, Black, Asian, and white as ethnicities you can select. Then you select your age. Then you select your height in inches, and then you type in your weight. Finally, you type in your waist measurement in inches, and you can opt to use your hip measurement in inches as well. And once you type in all of that information, it gives you a percentage of your Body Roundness Index. Now, the interesting thing for me about the Body Roundness Index is that it's not a graphical line that's linear. You know, the BMI goes up like this way or comes down like this way. The Body Roundness Index is a bell curve. So think about the St. Louis Arch, right? Or any arch, really. So at the bottom, there's risk on the left. At the bottom, there's risk on the right. In the center, it's optimal. And what they're saying about this Body Roundness Index, excuse me, is that there is risk on both sides. So researchers, they looked at a 20-year period of data between 1999 and 2018. The average age of the members in the research was about 46-year-old, very relevant for the population I serve, midlife women, about 46-year-old. Half of the group was women. The group was predominantly white, about 68%, but also included Black candidates, about 10%, and Mexican Americans. In this case, the individuals of the BRI below and above the median, the bell curve, the normal range, they were shown to have a greater risk of death at any cause. This is the new Body Roundness Index, and this data came out just this month or last month. The people in the middle were normal range and lower risk. Individuals with a Body Roundness Index of less than 3.4 had a 25% increased mortality risk. Now, what does that mean? What they're saying in the study is if you were particularly thin, right? There wasn't very much roundness to your midsection. You had a 25% increase of death, not because of weight, but because of the possibility of malnourishment, the possibility of low muscle mass, which is really blowing my mind because the BMI chart always rewards people for weighing less to a certain extent. For people that were over the body roundness index, they had a 49% increased risk of all-cause morbidity, and they said this was from the possibility of cardiovascular disease, what we call metabolic conditions, diabetes, cardiovascular disease. I think it's really interesting that they've come up with a body roundness index that doesn't just take your height and weight. It's meant to possibly replace the BMI, the body mass index. I hate the name. I wonder what you guys think about this. As this live broadcast goes up and people come back to rewatch the replay, which most people do, I'd love to get your comments on the body roundness index, the BRI, not the BMI, to see what you guys think about it. I think it's a little weird. Again, I'm just going to recap how it's calculated. And by the way, you can Google body roundness index calculator. Give it a shot for yourself. See what your numbers turn out to be. But the body roundness index will ask for your age. It will ask for your ethnicity. You can volunteer that. You don't need it. It'll ask for your ethnicity. It'll ask if you're male or female. It will ask your height. It'll ask your weight. But then it'll ask your circumference measures around your waist. You'll measure waist in inches, and you can volunteer to measure your hips in inches, and it will calculate a bell curve. If you're on the left side of the bell curve in the lower portion, there's increased risk of all-cause morbidity, according to this study of 33,000 people tracked over 20 years. If you're on the other side of the bell curve, where you have a greater roundness of your midsection and hips, it says that there's a 49% increased risk of death due to all-cause morbidity. The body roundness index, that's the news of the day. Let me know what you think about it. We're going to move on in the show to 3 supplements that I want to advise for the people that I serve, midlife women. I like to give a little tip on this show and get in and out in 15 minutes. And these are 3 different supplements that I think would be really helpful for you on your journey. You know, if you follow me, you know I'm not really big on supplementation. I don't represent any supplement companies. I rarely talk about supplements because most of my clients are going to benefit more from lifestyle, behavior change, exercising more, and adjusting nutrition. That's sort of a higher level requirement. But I like these 3 supplements. The first one, simple, it's protein powder, right? A good protein powder. If you're a plant-based person, I like the Garden of Life protein. It's PEA based protein. It's got a complete profile of amino acids. It doesn't have any stevia or artificial sweetener in it. It's unflavored, so you can put it in anything. So having a good protein can be helpful, particularly for women in midlife, because it's really hard to get all the protein that you're probably going to need through nutritional practices. It's not really that practical. And what a lot of my clients do is they put a little protein in their morning drink, particularly if they work out in the morning. So having a good protein, that's number 1. The second thing I like is magnesium. I like a spray-on magnesium, a topical magnesium. Why magnesium? Because a lot of my clients in this spectrum of their life, midlife women, they're having difficulty sleeping. And one of the telltale signs that you're depleted in magnesium is disrupted sleep. And you may be thinking, Ren, how can I tell my sleep disruption from magnesium from my sleep disruption because of hot flashes or flushes, night sweats, just the insomnia that is often associated with the menopause spectrum? And the answer is you kind of can't. But the other thing I like about magnesium for this population, particularly spray-on magnesium, is spray-on magnesium sort of eases the aches and pains. The musculoskeletal syndrome of menopause, which so many of my clients fall into, they just have days where they have achy joints, painful muscles. A lot of women in the menopause spectrum are probably misdiagnosed with fibromyalgia when it's actually the musculoskeletal syndrome of menopause. So spraying that magnesium on can help there. And the third reason I like that magnesium is because magnesium helps present us with a sense of calm. When we are stressed, one of the first minerals that our body will burn through is magnesium. And the absence of magnesium can have us, it can raise our anxiety a little bit. It can raise our stress response a little bit. So spraying that magnesium spray, which is odorless, doesn't damage your clothing or anything like that. Spraying that on after your nightly shower, before you crawl into bed, or in the morning before you get a very anxious day started, can be an asset. So that's the second supplement. And the third is creatine, right? Creatine has been in the news since the 90s. Absolutely safe supplement. It's not a steroid. It's absolutely safe supplement. It's something that your muscles naturally produce to help them fire off, to help you power through a workout. But the more interesting thing about creatine is the recent awareness of the cognitive benefits of creatine. So again, I know working with the population of women who are working through the menopause spectrum that there's a lot of brain fog happening. Dr. Lisa Mosconi wrote an excellent book called Menopause Brain that explains how and why the withdrawal and fluctuation of estrogen has such a profound effect on the brain. The brain is very much tied to the ovaries for women, absolutely different than men, including the fact that men don't have ovaries. But, men by sex and birth don't have ovaries. You know what I'm saying? But that creatine can help with cognitive function, help you better remember things, reduce that brain fog, in addition to supplying great energetic response for the muscles to help you power through those difficult and what should be intense workouts that you're doing. So those three supplements are on my desk. I like those three for the population that I serve especially, and I highly suggest them. Again, message me, DM me, post in here any questions you have about those three supplements or what are good sources of them. I'm happy to help you. Closing out the show, just a little me to you. From me to you, I want you to not get caught up so much in the get ready for summer bullshit that's circulating all over the internet. I get it. I understand it. I also understand that you have the right to live in whatever type of body you ideally would like to live in. I totally get that. The challenge with the entirety of the get ready for summer mantra is that it implies that, number one, you shouldn't be ready at any other time. You're only getting ready for summer. I hate that thought process. It also implies that you should be rushing to do batshit crazy things just to look a some certain way for summer. If you are alive and in a body, you have a summer body, ladies, and it's just fine the way it is. You can work out more. You can eat more nutritionally. There's nothing wrong with those things, but I don't want you to feel like there's in some way you are inadequate in the vessel that you're in at the moment. Love it, feed it nutritiously, respect it, work it, make sure that it's strong and healthy and capable. But there's nothing about summer that uniquely puts you in a situation where you need to alter your body in some way to conform to societal standards. I'd rather you stay ready than have to get ready. Let's keep it simple. I'll see you guys next week for another Hump Day Live. A little bit of news, a little bit of information you can use, and a little bit of motivation. Until next time, again, let's keep it simple. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, X, or Twitter, or whatever you're calling yourself today, Elon. I'll talk to you guys later. I hope this was helpful.